Hidden beneath the vastness of the ocean, shrouded in mystery and myth, lies a legend that has fascinated humanity for thousands of years. A place of unimaginable beauty, advanced technology, and tragic downfall. Today, we invite you to join us on an extraordinary journey back in time to uncover the secrets of the Lost City of Atlantis. Our journey starts in ancient Greece around 360 BCE, when the great philosopher Plato first spoke of Atlantis. In his dialogues, Timaeus and Critias, Plato described Atlantis as a powerful, advanced civilization located beyond the Pillars of Hercules, what we now call the Strait of Gibraltar. He wrote of a land more magnificent than any other, rich in natural resources, teeming with exotic animals and boasting incredible architecture, technology, and wealth. According to Plato's writings, Atlantis was not just a remote and isolated kingdom, but a naval powerhouse that dominated the Mediterranean Sea. Its citizens were said to be skilled sailors and navigators who had charted the seas far and wide, establishing trade routes and colonies throughout the known world. The Atlantean navy was reportedly unmatched, with a massive fleet of ships that were used to protect their vast empire and transport goods and people across the oceans. But Atlantis was not just about power and conquest. Plato also described it as a beacon of knowledge, philosophy, and wisdom. The Atlanteans were said to have been deeply spiritual people who revered the gods and sought to understand the mysteries of the universe. They were also great builders and engineers, having constructed magnificent temples and structures that were adorned with intricate carvings and works of art. Some scholars believe that Plato's description of Atlantis may have been influenced by his own experiences as he traveled throughout the Mediterranean, visiting various cultures and civilizations. He may have encountered accounts of real historical events that inspired him to create the legendary tale of Atlantis. Others believe that Plato created Atlantis as a philosophical allegory to convey his ideas about justice, wisdom, and the dangers of unchecked power. The story goes that the Atlanteans lived in relative peace and harmony with each other and the rest of the world until they became consumed by greed and a lust for power. According to Plato, the Atlanteans began to wage war on neighboring nations, seeking to expand their empire and dominate their rivals. They were driven by an insatiable desire for wealth and conquest, which ultimately led to their downfall. It was at this point that the gods intervened, punishing the Atlanteans for their arrogance and wickedness. The destruction of Atlantis is one of the most dramatic and awe-inspiring events in history. According to Plato's account, the gods unleashed a series of devastating earthquakes and floods upon the island, causing widespread destruction and loss of life. The earth shook violently, causing buildings to collapse and the seas to rise and engulf the land. The rains fell in torrents, causing rivers to overflow and inundate the city streets. But perhaps the most terrifying event was the sudden emergence of whirlpools that sucked down everything in their path. These colossal whirlpools were said to have been caused by the shifting of the earth and the rising of the sea, creating a vortex that pulled down ships and swallowed whole sections of the coastline. As the disaster continued, the Atlanteans struggled to survive amidst the chaos and destruction. Many fled to higher ground, seeking refuge from the rising waters, while others desperately tried to repair the damage to their homes and businesses. However, as the earthquakes and floods continued to intensify, it became clear that there was no escape from the wrath of the gods. Finally, as if in a last-ditch effort to save themselves, the Atlanteans made a desperate plea to the gods for mercy. But their prayers went unanswered, and the destruction continued unabated until the entire island was submerged beneath the waves. In the end, only two groups of people survived the destruction of Atlantis. One group managed to escape to the nearby mainland, where they founded a new settlement. The other group, however, was less fortunate and perished along with their city. Those who witnessed the destruction of Atlantis were left traumatized and grief-stricken, forever haunted by the memory of the great city that once was. What happened to Atlantis? Was it a real place or just a figment of Plato's imagination? For centuries, historians and archaeologists have debated the existence of Atlantis, trying to piece together the clues from Plato's writings and other ancient texts. Some believe that Plato's account was purely allegorical, meant to serve as a warning about the dangers of greed and corruption. Others argue that he was drawing from memories of real historical events, such as the eruption of Thera, modern-day Santorini, which devastated the Minoan civilization. The search for Atlantis has captivated explorers and adventurers for centuries. Many have risked their lives and fortunes in the pursuit of uncovering the lost city's secrets, but none have ever returned with conclusive evidence of its existence. Despite the lack of physical evidence, the legend of Atlantis continues to capture the human imagination. In recent years, some have even claimed to have discovered new evidence that could lead to the city's location. However, these claims have been met with skepticism from the scientific community. Whether Atlantis was a real place or just a myth, its story has had a profound impact on Western culture. The idea of a lost civilization that was destroyed by natural disaster or divine retribution has resonated with people throughout the ages. In literature, Plato's description of Atlantis has inspired countless writers, including Sir Francis Bacon, who wrote an essay on the subject in 1627, and novelist Ayn Rand, who featured Atlantis in her 1943 novel, The Fountainhead. But perhaps the most enduring legacy of Atlantis is in the realm of speculation and conspiracy theories. Some believe that Atlantis was a real place that existed long before Plato's time, while others argue that it was a utopian society that existed in the distant past. Still, others believe that Atlantis was actually a fictional creation by Plato to teach us about the dangers of greed and corruption. The truth is that we may never know for sure what happened to Atlantis. The lack of physical evidence makes it difficult to separate fact from fiction, leaving us to wonder if the lost city is real or just a product of our collective imagination. The legend of Atlantis has inspired countless theories and speculations, with some believing that the city's advanced technology and sophisticated society were the result of contact with extraterrestrials. According to this theory, the Atlanteans may have received advanced technology and knowledge from visitors from another planet, allowing them to develop a highly advanced civilization. However, this theory lacks any concrete evidence and is largely based on speculation and conjecture. Another popular theory suggests that Atlantis was actually a prehistoric island that sank beneath the waves due to rising sea levels. Proponents of this theory argue that the biblical account of the Great Flood could have contributed to the sinking of Atlantis, resulting in the destruction of the city and its advanced civilization. This theory is supported by the fact that many coastal cities have been lost to rising sea levels over the centuries, making it plausible that Atlantis could have met a similar fate. Some believe that the city of Atlantis was located somewhere in the Mediterranean Sea, such as in the Aegean or Ionian seas. This theory is based on Plato's description of Atlantis as being located beyond the Pillars of Hercules, which could refer to the strait that separates Spain and Morocco. Other scholars, however, argue that Atlantis was actually located further afield, such as in the Atlantic Ocean or even Antarctica. This theory is based on the belief that the Atlanteans were a highly seafaring people who explored far beyond the Mediterranean. The search for Atlantis has also been fueled by the discovery of ancient ruins that are thought to be remnants of the lost city. For example, the discovery of the Minoan Palace complex at Knossos in Crete has led some to speculate that Atlantis could have been located in the Aegean Sea. However, the lack of conclusive evidence means that the true location of Atlantis remains a mystery. Despite the passage of time, the story of Atlantis continues to captivate the human imagination. Its tale serves as a reminder of the impermanence of human civilization and the destructive power of nature. The mystery surrounding the lost city has inspired countless works of art, literature, and film, keeping the legend alive for generations to come. Whether Atlantis was a real historical place or just a figment of Plato's imagination, its story has had a profound impact on Western culture. The idea of a lost civilization that was destroyed by natural disaster or divine retribution has resonated with people throughout the ages, and the mystery surrounding the city's whereabouts continues to inspire explorers and adventurers to this day. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to stay up to date on all our latest content. And if you have any thoughts or theories on the Lost City of Atlantis, we'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.